Hi friends, today is about quick tips on debugging nextjs websites. Let me quickly get started. To give you some context, I'm using nextjs.org website as an example, which of course is built on Next.js. However, how would you identify if a web page is coming from Next.js? Very easy. Open Developer Tools from the menu of Chrome, go to View, Developer, and Developer Tools, or otherwise you can simply press Command Option I on your keyboard to open the network tab. I'll zoom it in for the clarity purpose. Now go to the Sources tab, and in here you will see this directory like structure. If you see underscore next on the top, that simply means and clearly indicates that the web page is a Next.js page. Now, second tip on debugging. Do you know that you can preserve both console logs and API calls in Network tab so that you don't lose them while working on a bug? You can go to the settings icon on the right on the console tab on Developer Tools. Click on this option called Preserve Log. This will preserve the logs while you navigate from one page to other page. Now, for the network API calls, of course, you go to Network tab and you click on this option to preserve block to keep a sequence of previous API calls along with the new ones when you navigate between the pages. Third tip, this often comes handy. If you see some of your components are not loading and you want to identify if an API call affects that component, then do this. Open Network tab. First, refresh to see all the API calls that are being sent from this page. We see a call called user. For now, I know that this loads this component on the top right where you see my picture. You can click right on this API call, click on block request URL. You will see that this API call will be blocked for now. You can filter it and delete previous calls. Refresh the page. You'll see that DevTools will block this API call, and if something is linked with this API call, that component will not load. You will see that this picture of mine is not loading anymore. When you do select Preserve Logs from the Network tab and you navigate between zones or pages in a Next.js website, sometimes you will see that Chrome throws this error, failed to load response data, no resource with given identifier found for an API call in the response tab. This is known Chrome browser limitation. There's nothing that we can do to fix this. However, this blocks us from debugging some of the issues. When this happens, you can debug the compiled source code in a different way. Go to Sources tab, and in here you will see this Next.js directory. Go to underscore next, static, and then find the chunks of your app. For this one, it is very clear and evident that we are on the showcase page. So our page should be inside showcase folder. If it is your own project, you know better. You can right click on it and overwrite content. When you go there, you'll see a compile code like this. Now, in here, things get a little tricky because this is a compile code. It is not as straightforward to find the content of your API calls. So you need to be creative. You need to find the right string, right name. Let's say you have a component mount in your class and you can filter by that. It's up to you. Once you reach the right place, it helps a lot in identifying the input and output of a function to know if that is expected input or expected output for that function, for an API call, or anything that you're trying to debug. For this page, it's static page, so simply I'm going to log a console over here for you to know how this works. And I have added a console.log, page function is called. Make sure you press Command Save and then refresh the page. Before refreshing the page, also remember in the console tab, you have all levels selected over here, or at least the verbose level selected here because our console.log prints from verbose. Now I'm going to delete everything just to make sure that we see the console log statement and zoom in it as well. Refresh the page. We see that this log statement is printed twice. This is a simple log statement which might not give a lot of clue about what this is about, but if you get the hint, if you're identifying and trying to debug a bug, this is very useful to debug the production code, to jump in directly to the production code, compiled one, and see what is not working. That's all for today. Those are the 4 tips of debugging for Next.js pages, and I hope you find it useful. I'll upload more tips on upcoming videos, so stay tuned and subscribe to my channel.